All right, y'all, Native Watercraft Slayer versus the Hobie Pro Angler 12 coming up. All right, y'all, Delaware Paddle Sports Kayak Fishing Team member Lou Martinez. Today, I want to talk about the two kayaks that you see in front of you. I've fished both of these pretty extensively thus far. I've got a lot more time in the Slayer for the past 2 years before I switched over and decided to start rocking the Hobie. So, you know, this is kind of one of those videos to help people cue in on things that might be important for you that you wouldn't necessarily get from some of the other reviews. This is a true, honest review. Yes, I used to be Native Watercraft Pro staff. Again, this is not going to be a bash the product video. I'm going to give you the very straightforward points about each of these kayaks. From the front to the back, they both tend to push water. However, when my buddy was coming towards me today pedaling this one, I could hear him drastically in this one when he was coming towards me. That's one of the key things that I cued in on very early with the Hobie, was that how quiet it was, how quiet the drive was, how quiet the seat was, how many positions you could adjust the seat in. The things I truly love about the Native are the Propel drive. Yeah, the drive might do a little hum against the hull. The fact that you can go forward and then reverse in an instant while you're fighting a fish. You just set down, you don't have to pull anything. I mean, that to me is a huge benefit over the Pro Angler. Again, I'm fishing both of these, so I really want to give you the real solid points to these. You have the Propel drive versus the Mirage drive. I'm going to do a full video on just those two things, but right off the top, I can tell you that this Propel drive can take a beating, can take a real beating. I've hit rocks, I've hit stumps. I've never done a lick of maintenance on the internal gears to this other than keep grease in there. That's all I've done to that drive, and it is still working flawlessly today. 2 years, going on 3 of just solid torture, beating this up on multiple different tournament trails. That drive is still ticking today. Seats, a little bit more comfortable seat on the Hobie. It's definitely a lot quieter than the Native seat. You've got really good, strong handles. The Native has good handles on the side. The Hobie really doesn't, but you have the H-rail that provides a lift point if you need it. Rudders. By far, Native really needs to step up their game and change something with the rudder, because that has been the most common complaint that people have with the Native, is that the rudder is constantly breaking. You know, what they're gonna do in the future, I don't know, but the rudder is definitely something that needs to be addressed. The Hobie one thus far is doing really well for me. I like the fact that I can tuck it up, get it out of the way. The Native rudder, when it was on the ground, was pretty cumbersome at times. And when it comes to which boat can actually turn sharper, the Hobie actually has that hands down. This one can turn a lot sharper. I think this one does a lot better in the wind. So the Native Watercraft, in my opinion, performs better in the wind and waves, cuts through those a little bit better, and is a faster boat. So you'll see also that I have the Boondocks on both of these. I'm a big fan of the Boondocks. What I'm not a fan of on the Boondock side is that there's a plate under there, and that plate, the way that I installed it on my Slayer by drilling through, is actually cracking the hull. The Hobie, I've drilled that one as well, so that has me a little worried, because, you know, I've actually heard of people drilling those and actually cracking the hole there. So I'm a little worried on that part. Some of the things that you're not going to see in a lot of these, but you have to pick up from some of the videos, is how much water the Native holes hold. You know, you could come over this one right now and I could show you the water that's in this kayak versus the Hobie, which is bone dry. You know, that's something that you know, you're always dealing with this kayak is that your feet are in water a lot of the time. You know, so if it's cold, your feet are in water. If it's warm, your feet are in water. They're just in water a lot with this kayak. And that comes from getting in, that comes from the water coming out of the scuppers, and it just doesn't drain as well as some of the other kayaks, like an Old Town Predator. Those drain really well. They're sloped for that. Look at some of the Titan videos that are out there. That boat seems to have the exact same problem. Okay, so storage wise in the rear, the Hobie definitely has a lot more storage there. But again, this is a faster boat. This boat paddles well. This boat paddles, I'm gonna give it a meh. Paddles okay, but you know, not as good as this one. This one could be a paddle boat by itself. Here's a quick look at what I'm paddling in. One thing I love about the Slayer is it is actually a very good paddling kayak as well. You might not think of it as such, but it really is. Last but not least, let's get into the internal storage. The Slayer basically has none. It has a few access points that are very small. One of the things I always disliked about the Slayer was this front access hatch with these screws. That gives you something to lose, something you've got to replace. It's time consuming to take those off. There just needs to be a better solution than that. Platforms for fishing, they're both excellent platforms for fishing. More fishing in the grass. That's going to be a problem. You can stand in this one, no problem. You know, I've done almost one-legged hook sets in this guy. This guy over here, just as good as a stable platform, if not better. So, you know, if you're in the market, I hope this helped you out. I hope I pointed out a few things. I'm not saying that, you know, don't buy this one, buy this one. I just really wanted to give you the few key points that a lot of people aren't really talking about when they review these kayaks. If I had to give you some bad things that I don't like about the Hobie, it would be the drive, guys. I love a Propel drive. I think this is a phenomenal drive. It's a strong, sturdy build, and you got that instant reverse. This just doesn't have that. I fish a lot of laydowns. I fish a lot of those type of situations to where, you know, I need to back up, move forward, and maintaining boat position is really key. So, you know, it's a little bit harder to do with the Mirage Drive because you're constantly pulling cords. Those cords need to be changed out because, you know, those break pretty frequently. They also wear on your fingers pulling inside of those cords because you got just a little contact point that you're pulling on. You know, the Mirage Drive isn't perfect, but it's still a phenomenal drive, super quiet, super smooth. And, you know, it saved my legs for those really long pedals that are out there. But overall, both excellent fishing platforms. You know, I hope this helps you make that decision. Please check out my sponsors, Delaware Paddle Sports. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Y'all have a good one.